The signing of Shohei Ohtani by the Los Angeles Dodgers was never simply a transaction. It was an earth-shattering event, a gravitational shift in the sports landscape that immediately redefined the parameters of excellence. When the details of the $700 million contract first spilled across the newswires, the universal focus, the knee-jerk fear, centered on the blinding, undeniable flashiness of the spectacle. We spoke of the 50-plus home runs, the exit velocities measured in supersonic booms, the ability to change a game with a single physics-defying swing. Opposing pitchers worried about the moonshots. Opposing managers strategized on where to shift, how to avoid throwing a mistake pitch that would instantly become a viral clip. The fear was physical, visceral, and quantifiable. It was the fear of the unprecedented athletic gifts housed within one generational talent. But as the initial blinding light of the signing began to settle, and as the 2024 season progressed, a far more insidious and enduring fear began to take hold, a terror that, paradoxically, originated not from Ohtani's explosive power, but from his utter and unwavering serenity. Charon, this deep psychological impact was recently and perhaps most eloquently articulated by Dodgers ace Tyler Glasnow, a pitcher whose own journey is defined by intensity and the constant battle to manage the immense pressure inherent in the role of an elite starter. Glasnow observed that the true, lasting legacy Ohtani is cementing within the Dodgers organization isn't just the production, but the unsettling and unparalleled calmness he brings to the clubhouse. This calmness, Glasnow suggested, is what truly terrifies the competition, and perhaps more importantly, what permanently alters the internal dynamics of the Dodgers' own roster. To fully grasp the magnitude of Ohtani's composure, you must first understand the environment he entered. The Dodgers clubhouse is an ecosystem built on relentless achievement, but also one prone to the natural ebbs and flows of the long, grinding 162-game schedule. There are peaks of euphoria, the troughs of slumps, and the constant, suffocating weight of expectation in a city that demands a World Series every single October. In most clubhouses, stars feel this pressure keenly. Their emotions fluctuate with their batting averages, providing opponents with a potential psychological wedge. If you can rattle the opposing superstar, force them into an emotional overreaction after a strikeout or a defensive error, you have won a small but significant battle. Ohtani, however, operates within a psychological vacuum entirely of his own making. His demeanor remains fundamentally unchanged, whether he has just launched a 480-foot missile or struck out looking on 3 pitches to strand the bases loaded. His reaction to triumph and failure is startlingly flat, a level of monastic detachment that flies in the face of conventional superstar behavior. This is not apathy. It is the absolute mastery of routine and mental discipline. Glasnow pointed out that witnessing this level of emotional neutrality day in and day out doesn't just offer a good example, it sets an entirely new, almost impossible standard for mental toughness. The calmness Ohtani projects is terrifying for 3 critical reasons. Firstly, it strips away the psychological warfare capabilities of the opponent. Traditional baseball strategy relies heavily on exploiting weaknesses, both physical and mental. Coaches game plan for how to make a player uncomfortable, how to break their focus, how to inject self-doubt into their approach. But against Ohtani, these levers are useless. There is no visible frustration to feed on, no crack in the armor to pry open. When a pitcher knows they have executed a perfect pitch, yet Ohtani shows no reaction, it's the pitcher who begins to doubt their own effectiveness. The calmness becomes a form of relentless psychological pressure applied back onto the defense. It says, without speaking a word, You must be perfect every single time, and even perfection will not earn a reaction from me. Secondly, within the Dodgers organization, this calmness acts as an impenetrable shield against the media cyclone that surrounds a mega-market team.
The Ohtani era is perhaps the most scrutinized period in modern baseball history. Every swing, every pitch, every off-field narrative, the sheer volume of external noise is deafening.
For most players, this noise penetrates the clubhouse walls, leading to anxiety, distraction, and often pressing. Yet, Ohtani's internal stillness filters out the chaos. He remains the eye of the storm.
When Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman look over and see Ohtani methodically executing his pre-game routine, untroubled by the day's headlines or the pressure of a divisional race, it fundamentally reassures them.
It broadcasts a crucial message. Success is found only within the repeatable process, not in emotional highs or lows. His presence enforces a collective discipline. It demands that his elite teammates meet his standard of focus, pulling the entire organizational ceiling higher. If the greatest player in the world can maintain this level of equilibrium, what excuse does anyone else have to succumb to pressure? Thirdly, and perhaps most enduringly, Ohtani's calm consistency guarantees longevity and health. Emotional volatility often translates into physical tension, leading to mechanical breakdowns or injury. Ohtani's measured approach, the precision with which he trains, recovers, and approaches every single rep, is indicative of a mind focused purely on sustainment, not temporary gratification. This level of professional detachment, often described by overseas observers with a blend of reverence and fascination, is what makes the Ohtani era so fundamentally different from previous eras defined by showmanship and ego. Jackie Robinson broke barriers with quiet dignity. Babe Ruth dominated with boisterous celebrity. Ohtani marries the athleticism of the latter with the almost surgical self-control of the former. The true fear, as recognized by Glasnow and internalized by the Dodgers, isn't whether Ohtani will hit 50 home runs this year. The fear is the realization that his machine-like consistency means he will always be excellent, year after year, fundamentally changing the landscape of the team and the league well into 2025 and 2026. In the cutthroat world of MLB, where teams constantly look for vulnerabilities, a weakness in the hitting approach, a flaw in the pitching mechanics, or a chink in the mental armor, Ohtani presents no such targets. He is a wall of polished granite. He produces the flashiest results in the game, but he achieves them through the least flashy means possible, pure, unrelenting tranquility. When the Dodgers inevitably reach the high-stakes pressure cooker of October baseball, the ability of their centerpiece superstar to treat the tension of a Game 7 plate appearance with the same cool detachment as an exhibition game drill will be the intangible quality that tips the scales. The opponents will still be looking for the physical fear, the power that might intimidate. But the Dodgers will know the secret. The real menace lies in the unshakable, terrifying quietness of the era's greatest talent. That calmness is not just a personal trait, it is a championship culture blueprint.